Here are the 12 most absurd things bought by billionaires. If I had $1 billion, I would never buy this ridiculous crap. But that's just me. Check it out. Number 12. Clive Palmer is an Australian businessman who really wants Jurassic Park to be a real thing. So much so that he made plans to clone dinosaurs in order to attract visitors to his 5-star resort. But apparently, no one has a heart to tell him that it's a terrible idea and that you actually can't clone dinosaurs, and that it probably wouldn't end too well for humans either. Nevertheless, he settled for the next best thing, commissioning over 100 animatronics to be built along the resort's golf course. I can't imagine golfers are too thrilled about having to chip over raptors or hooking a 5-iron around a T-Rex, but if you can afford to build it, then why not, right? I mean, YOLO! On top of that, Palmer recently decided to build a full-scale replica of the Titanic. Get this, not only will passengers be separated by class, but they also won't be allowed to intermingle, just like on the real Titanic. Hoping to set sail in 2018, you'll definitely be able to pull a Leonardo DiCaprio and shout, "I'm the king of the world!" Number 11. Known for her extravagant lifestyle, Jocelyn Wildenstein once calculated her yearly phone bill at over $60,000 and a food and wine budget of over $500,000. I mean, what's wrong with eating caviar and truffle-encrusted Kobe beef every day? You gotta save the rice and beans for the starving kids in Africa, right? As a socialite, Wildenstein hasn't really done anything noteworthy, except for being a good wife and never putting a price on love. Oh yeah, and also getting extensive cosmetic facial surgery to look more like a cat. Her husband is Alec Wildenstein, a well-renowned art dealer who really loves big cats. So being the obedient wife that she was, Jocelyn butchered her face to please his fondness for felines. She's rumored to have spent $4 million on numerous surgeries. Of course, Alec was eventually caught cheating on her with a 19-year-old Russian model, and they subsequently divorced. Maybe it's because this attractive Aphrodite didn't look like a goddamn Siberian tiger. Number 10. As the richest man in the country of Georgia, Bidzina Ivanishvili loves to splash his cash around. He made his money in finance right after the fall of communism, when the Soviet Union privatized itself. Today, his estimated net worth is $6.4 billion. That's almost half of Georgia's entire GDP, and his wealth is definitely not hidden, as you can see from his $50 million home, which overlooks Georgia's capital of Tbilisi. To say his mansion is opulent would be an understatement. It's filled with millions of dollars of art, as well as his own private zoo, complete with penguins, sharks, and even zebras. I wonder if they have any bored badgers in there too. That's like a house a James Bond villain would own. But don't be too quick to judge, because he also loves to give back to his country. Not only does he lavish his village neighbors with houses, roads, and cash, but he also pays for newlywed services and gives each couple $1,200 to help them start their new lives. On top of that, he successfully ran for Prime Minister of Georgia and claims to have restored democracy and have reformed the political system. Dear Donald Trump, take note, because Bidzina Ivanishvili is doing it all kinds of right, and you're doing it all kinds of well, let's just say there's plenty of room for improvement. Number 9. As the founder of Amazon.com, Jeff Bezos clearly has more than enough money. Thanks to him, you don't even need to get out of the house to go shopping anymore. I mean, why would you when you know Amazon has it and you don't even need to get up from your 48-hour Netflix binge? So touche, Jeff Bezos, your billions are well-deserved. In recent years, Bezos has been working on privatizing spaceflight through his company Blue Origin and helped recover engines of the historic Apollo 11 mission from the bottom of the ocean. He also donated $42 million to fund the Clock of the Long Now project, a clock that'll keep time for 10,000 years! Maybe the gravitas of this project is beyond my simple mind, but $42 million to make a clock seems like a complete waste of money, and not to mention time. Pun intended! Apparently it's going to be buried deep at the top of Mount Washington in the Great Basin National Park in Nevada, and will only be accessible by foot. What the hell? Not only is this clock super expensive, but it won't even be easy to get to. There better be a roller coaster or casino or some shit when you get to the clock, because it doesn't seem very necessary. Oh well, let the nerds have their fun. Number 8. Okay, billionaire may be a stretch here because I'm assuming Miley Cyrus is not a billionaire, but she does have a lot of money as a celebrity, so you know she's made some ridiculously stupid purchases. Her most absurd purchase yet would definitely be buying her 5 dogs their own private Range Rover. Yeah, you heard that right. Miley's 5 dogs have their own Range Rover. While most of us are clunking around in our used cars or brand new Corolla, her happy hounds are living it up in a super sick SUV. They're even chauffeured around with their own personal driver. What happens to getting them a new toy or some dog treats? God forbid they ever have to listen to Miley's music on repeat, because that would be considered animal cruelty. Number 7. Sir Richard Branson is best known as a founder of the Virgin Group, which includes Virgin Megastore, Virgin Records, and Virgin Airlines. The British billionaire is perhaps known for his crazy promotional stunts that have been a successful marketing ploy and have really endeared him to the public. His most ambitious project to date is Virgin Galactic, a spaceflight company providing suborbital flights to tourists. Pretty soon, you'll be able to take one of these selfies. Branson's funneled millions of dollars into the company, but is yet to have a maiden voyage into space. But that hasn't stopped big-time celebrities from queuing up though, like Justin Bieber, Angelina Jolie, and Leonardo DiCaprio. These stars are literally going to be able to take their stardom to the stars. You can do it too for only $200,000. I know, chump change, right? Number 6. Jay-Z and Beyonce, aka the king and queen of the music industry, can pretty much do whatever they want, including making ridiculously absurd purchases from time to time. And what better way to show your love for your daughter, Blue Ivy, than by having an $85,000 Barbie custom made for her first birthday? Etched in white gold and covered in over 150 gems, this is the most badass Barbie out there. Let's just hope she hasn't broken it already or drooled on it. An argument can also be made against Jay-Z's purchase of the Brooklyn Nets, too, since they're a constant dump fire. But what does that matter when you're making the type of money they are? Mr. and Mrs. Carter, I salute you. Number 5. Gentlemen, it's a really good idea to know your significant other's favorite place to eat. And if you don't, start getting used to sleeping on the couch. But if you're Kanye West, it wasn't good enough to just know where Kim likes to eat. Yeezy stepped up his game and bought her 10 Burger King locations as a wedding present, paying $7.5 million for the restaurants that are scattered all across Europe. I'm sure it's a great investment on his end, but regardless, it's still an odd wedding present, or a subtle way of telling her to keep up that big booty of hers. Number 4. If you combine some of these athletes, their net worth probably comes out to $1 billion. Actually, probably not, since they've made some pretty awful financial decisions in the past. First up is Chad Johnson, aka Ocho Cinco, who bought a $100,000 semi-truck for God knows why after his NFL days were over. Then we have Terrell Owens, who paid $2 million for a gambling entertainment complex in Alabama, which contained devices that were illegal in the state of Alabama. Not to mention the NFL has a policy against its players investing in gambling. And last but not least is Curt Schilling, a former Red Sox pitcher who dumped a whopping $50 million into a video game company that ended up failing and leaving him in financial ruins. Number 3. One of the wealthiest men in Asia, Stanley Ho definitely knows how to live it up. With the monopoly on the gambling industry in Macau, Ho doesn't have to worry about any crazy purchases putting a dent in his bank account, including his 2-time purchase of some white truffles that cost him $330,000 each time. What the hell? He spent more on those things than what most people make in an entire year. I bet they don't even taste that good. On the plus side, his purchases were for a good cause, as the money went straight to charity. Number 2. With a net worth of over $9 billion, Roman Abramovich is one wealthy dude. His most ridiculous purchase to date was the largest yacht in the world. Look at that thing, it's freaking huge! It cost him just under $600 million and requires a crew of 70 people to maintain. So wait, there's more people working on this boat than there are in my apartment building? It has an annual operating budget of $60 million per year. On top of that, Roman also owns an entire island. Just had to mention that in case you need another reason to feel jealous. And now, for number 1 most absurd thing bought by a billionaire. For more videos, subscribe here. Here we have Hassan al-Bolkiah, the Sultan of Brunei and one badass baller. One of the richest men in the world, the Sultan has an estimated net worth of $20 billion, which is basically as much as the entire country's GDP. He lives in a $350 million palace that has 1,788 rooms and 257 bathrooms, and a total of over 2 million square feet. With all that space, the Sultan has a very extensive automobile collection. He's got an estimated 7,000 cars that cost almost $800 million. That means he can drive a different car every day for over 19 years before having to drive the same one twice. In the 1990s, his family accounted for almost half of all Rolls-Royce purchases. What's more is that he's got a gold-plated private plane with gold furniture, solid gold washbins, and enough space for his $14 million gold-plated Rolls-Royce. Oh yeah, and when he wants a fresh buzz, he's been known to get $15,000 haircuts. This guy takes ballin' to a whole new level. Be sure to check out our 12 suggestive photos that need a second look by clicking here. Better.